Hey guys, I'm RozaldVaneGAME, and welcome back to another episode of VLR, Virtue's Last Reward, or Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward. I don't think I said that in the last episode. I didn't say it in full. I just said VLR, probably, and that was it. That's just a guess, because I kind of felt like I didn't say it in full until now. Anyways, last episode we finished out PEC, Pressure Exchange Chamber. We just finished that puzzle, which I can show you here on the flow. We just finished this puzzle in particular, and now we're just moving into this particular novel. Which essentially would push us to the Betray Ally section, which is the last of this part. There doesn't seem to be an extension, I don't think, but if there is, it looks like it might be a hidden one if that is the case. If not, great. I don't have to think about it, because I don't expect it to, like, extend it for itself. Because I think that if there's always a hidden something, that's, like, similar to these other ones down here. So, like, not this one, but this one in particular was hidden from us. We didn't know that one until we got to that point, as well as this side too. Like, this one had nothing beyond it, I think. Or maybe it had, like, a third one and that was it. But then it suddenly just shows up with the rest of the branch, which kind of sucked a lot. But, I mean, it could still branch out like they do with the other ones. I just don't think it should, but whatever. Anyways. Yeah, so we just got into this warehouse for the first time after exiting the PEC. We struggled a little bit, so that's the results of what happened. I struggled, and that took half the episode for me, just trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing wrong. 扉が白く光っておるの。Are they chromatic doors?
そうみたいだね。ほら、見て。扉の脇にロックって表示された装置がある。
他の CD の脇にあったものと同じじゃな。
So you're saying that all the chromatic doors for the next round are white?
今までは3枚別々の色を知ってたけど。
Fair.
今回は3枚とも白一色のようじゃな。
Before we could discuss the doors any further, a familiar robotic's voice crackled over the speakers.
アンビデックスゲートが開放されました。
It's Dio again. Always had to be. It's always weird because I know who literally did it. It's literally Dio. Dio's the one who literally just said, "Hey, well, I'm gonna just do my thing and just start being a dumbass about it."
アンビデックスゲーム投票の締め切りまで残り45分です。
It's also interesting because the announcer announces how much time you got left remaining once the doors open, in opposed to us just clicking on our little watch to say how much time we have left till the next voting round. But I think that it also makes the case that, like, the developers chose, or the narrative people, I guess the developers in this case, because I don't think there's narrative designers in Japan. I don't think there's no job position like that unless they're westernized, like, completely, or westernized as in, like, westernized the hierarchy of design work. But most oftentimes it's just called game planners, which is interesting to me that they label their jobs a little differently and their structures, hierarchies a little different as well. But anyways, point aside, the developers of this one is like, hey, we're just gonna enforce the player to just get into the next thing and not have to worry about asking themselves, like, oh, can we click on the clock and see how much time we have left till, I don't know, the next voting round. But instead it's forced us to vote the thing completely once the door opens. What?
他のチームが先走って開けちゃったんだよ。AB ゲート。
なんと勝手なこと。我々はまだ戻っておらんというのに。とにかく上の階に戻るぞ。クォークのことも気がかりじゃからな。一刻も早くアリスやケイと合流せんと。
Right. Got it.
行こ
う。Let's go. Oh, it's one of those doors that opens up. Yeah. It's kind of strange to see that door every time. Like, I just feel like there's no point in that door to exist. It just feels really weird. But yeah, because that door with the switch with the red door, it just made no sense to me personally, because it's like, yeah, I guarantee when we go that path, it should open up automatically anyways, right? It just makes no sense to me a little bit, but whatever. I mean, it's they're just trying to prove something, I guess. Alright, it's probably Deal. I forget who he paired up with in this game, or in this particular path. He was with Fi, I think? Fi and Luna? We returned to the Floor A warehouse to only find 2 people waiting for us. Kay, who'd gone through the red door. And Dio, who'd gone through the green door. So wait, so we're the last group back up here. Interesting. So the other group is already gone.
クオークはどこじゃ？
医務室に運びました。今はアリスさんとファイさん、それからルナさんがそばに付き添って見ています。
容体は？
良くもなく悪くもなくといったところでしょうか。依然として小康状態が続いています。ただ、
わかった。ではわしは医務室へ。
あ、天明寺さん、お待ちください。
Wait, was Kay gonna say something more important after that? Tenmyoji ignored Kay and took off at a run through the yellow door. Bye, Tenmyoji.
やれやれ、参りましたね。天明寺さんに伝えなければならないことがあったのですが。
ま、問題ないんじゃねえか。医務室にはアリスとファイとルナがいる。事情なら3人が説明してくれるだろう。
Clover and I looked at one another, eyebrows raised.
何があったの？
実は。
What? I'm so confused. What?
そのバイオラボってところに抗ウイルス薬があったっていうの
？Hey, they got the so they got the cure for Quark basically in this path. That's interesting. I didn't think the laboratory was visited in this path. That's very interesting.
ええ。ただし発見された薬の瓶は一つだけですが。
Why do we need another one though? Why would we need a second bottle in this particular path? Is it because Alice is out as well? If Alice is out as well, then that means that we're gonna have to go through that same lock we went through. But I don't think we have any lock in this flow, I don't think. Like, there's no flow lock here at all. Then we can cure Quark's Radical 6.
おそらく。
Well, I guess we should head over to the infirmary and see how he's doing. Come on, let's go.
わかった。
I just don't get it, but okay.
これでもう大丈夫なはずです。じきにクオーク君は回復すると思います。
Luna's voice was quiet as she stepped back from Quark. She held an injection gun with an empty vial. Delicately, she placed it back in the cabinet. Quark had been laid out on a crude cot and was still sound asleep. His breathing was even, and his expression was peaceful. He looked like any other child sleeping soundly after a long day of doing whatever it is children do to amuse themselves. Any trace of the insanity he'd shown earlier was nowhere to be found. But we weren't there to experience that insanity. So this is the first time we've actually not had Quark be like insane and we have to hold him down and stuff.
本当に大丈夫なんじゃな。
I mean, that's cool that we finally don't have to see Quark every time get up and be like going crazy and we have to hold him down.
はい。解析の結果、見つかった薬は間違いなくアクセラビルだと判明しました。それを今、クオーク君に投与したので、しばらく経てば体内のウイルスは駆逐されるというわけだな。そのはずです。よかったわね、本当に。
I mean, it's thank goodness that Alice didn't go crazy as well, because once once Quark went crazy, Alice went crazy, and then got Radical 6 in her body, but thankfully she's not there yet. But she might get it, I think, and that's probably a bad thing.
ほっとしたよ。
Because we already used up the last of the potion, the cure, on Quark, so if Alice goes insane, then we can't cure her at this point.
一時はどうなることかと思ったが。
I felt some of the tension disappear from my shoulders, and I left out a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding. We weren't out of the woods yet, but at least Quark was safe. Tenmyoji let out a long, shaky sigh and lowered himself onto one of the empty beds. He rubbed his hands wearily across his face, and I thought I saw the glint of tears.
とにかくアリス、ケイ、二人には心から感謝するぞ。二人が薬を見つけてくれたおかげでクオークは助かったんじゃからな。
やめてよ。お礼を言われるほどのことはしてないわ。たまたま私たちが赤の扉の先へと進んだだけのことで。
そういえば、K はどこじゃ？
He's in the warehouse, isn't it?
姿が見当たらんが。
Well, he's in the warehouse waiting for the next voting, right?
倉庫に残ってる。ディオと一緒にね。あの二人は倉庫で待機してたんだ。お前らが戻ってきた時に事情を説明するためにな。
So Dio and Kay were the ones who opened the AB gates.
うん。開いてた扉は一つだけだったから、二人のうちのどっちかだと思う。
Oh, I see. I thought she knew immediately. I was like, how do you know, Clover? You just barely got here just like we did. It's like, oh no, maybe because she saw just the one door. Because we did see a one door open when we entered the warehouse.
とにかく、あの二人にも報告しないとね。クオークへの薬の投与は無事に終えたって。
Yeah, you're right. I nodded and headed back towards the other side of the room. I was nearly there when Tenmyoji suddenly spoke. I think Tenmyoji is going to stay behind and let our character vote for him, I guess. I mean, what's more to it anyways, honestly? If we do get betrayed by Clover, however... No. If we do betray or ally, it doesn't really matter to Tenmyoji, I feel like, but I can't remember if Tenmyoji has like 1 point or if he has like the more points.
お、思い出したぞ。
Huh?
さっきの部屋で見つけたメモリーカードのことじゃ。
Oh, right, we need to plug the memory card into the PC. This thing.
そうじゃ。そいつの中身を見る方法を思い出したんじゃよ。覚えておらんか？この医務室の仕掛けを解いたとき、同じ形状のメモリーカードを使ったじゃろうが。
ああ、確かに。
Yeah, we went through the infirmary.
デスクの前にあるモニター。そこにメモリーカードの差し込み口があって。
We went through the infirmary together, I believe. Tenmyoji, me, and Fi had went through this infirmary puzzle together in this particular path. I forgot about that. But yeah, it's true that we plugged it in here, but we didn't understand how to deal with it, so... Oh, yeah. There it is. Right, yeah. Well, let's give it a shot.
調べてみようよ。
Okay, just give me a minute here. It is fascinating that Dio's not in the room, because Dio's the one who probably knows how to deal with it. But I can't remember if he was in the room in the other path, because we did this is the second time we're doing this, where we put the slot into the computer monitor thingy here. And all we got out of it was Alice just saying, like, it's just a puzzle thing we can't solve now at this point, because we don't know what the code or the information is for getting it unlocked and stuff. So I slid the card into the slot. I slid the card into the slot next to the screen. No sooner had I done so than an image of a waveform popped up on the screen.
これは何かの音声データでしょうか？
Wait, what? It's a different thing? It's not a password? Oh, that's strange. It's not a password thingy no more. That's interesting. So there's a different information chip, I guess. I guess this is actually a key to a puzzle block in another path, I guess, because this looks kind of like one.
ボリュームを上げてみましょう。
Luna tapped a few things on the screen and a bar began to move across the screen. Before long, a voice drifted out in the speakers.
こちら管制塔、調子はどうだい？長いこと俺の声が聞けなくて寂しかっただろう。俺もだよ。月に向かって逃亡したい気分だった。そうそう、月といえば今窓の外に綺麗な満月が浮かんでる。真っ赤な月だ。今日は2028年最後の日、大晦日。ちょうど月食の時刻なんだよ。怪しくてうっとりするぜ。お前らにも見せてやりたいところだが。っていけねえ。お前らは設定上火星にいることになってるんだったな。火星の衛星フォボスとダイモスはどんな風に見えるんだ？
It's interesting because Phobos and Deimos sounds like Phi and Dio almost in a weird way.
俺も一遍拝んでみたいぜ。オーバー。
But I think those are the name of like the planet or the moon, maybe.
ああ、どうしたんだよ。応答してくれ。
Huh?
長いこと連絡が取れなかったもんだから拗ねちまってるのか？冗談はよせよ。いい加減答えてくれ。頼む。
I don't think he said where are you guys. He said I beg you, or like he's like he's requesting for the person to speak basically. But okay.
おい、通信系統の方はどうなってる？
Like he's requesting somebody to say something at the end of that sentence. That is.
異常なし。だったらこいつはどういうことなんだ？どうしてあいつらは答えない？いや、映像の方は生きてるぞ。テーブルを囲んだ9人の姿がしっかりと映ってる。
Wait, what?
あ？映像回線が乗っ取られてるだと？
Huh?
リアルタイムのものじゃない？つまり記録された映像が割り込んで送信されてるっていうのか？
Oh, that's interesting. That's funny. So basically, they're just watching over something happening, but the thing that they're watching over is just a fool. Just make them look foolish all that time.
おいおい、一体何がどうなってるって言うんだ？こちら管制塔、こちら管制塔、頼むから応答してくれ。
こちら
Oh?
ああ、よかった。心配したぞ。何があった？
6人が死亡しました。
Oh? But also she sounds kind of familiar. She kind of sounds like... She sounds kind of like Luna a little bit. It's a little bit. It's not guaranteed that's Luna.
現在生存中なのは私を含めて3名のみです。
Yeah, it sounds like Luna a little bit. But thinking backwards a little bit, it sounds kind of like June or Akane from 999. A little bit. Sounds like her a little bit. I'm not too sure because she does have the soft voice. But the difference is, so the difference between Luna's voice and Akane's voice from 999 is that Luna is a little bit higher pitch when she speaks, but with Akane she's a little bit more softer and less higher pitch than Luna. But they have a similar like tone of like talking, which are very similar to each other in a sense. No idea if there's any correlation between the two. I have no clue. But she does sound like June or Akane from 999 in a weird way.
どうしてそんなことに？
殺されたのです。
なんだと？
結果的には私が殺したことになるかと。
Yeah, it does sound like Luna a little bit though. It's hard.
正確に言うと私が殺したのは6人だけではありません。6人じゃなくて
Wait, what?
60億人。
Oh, because she released the virus. This woman released the virus to the world, basically.
私はこれから60億の人々を。
Yeah, because they talked about how Radical 6 ravaged everyone in the world.
おい、どうした？応答しろ。こちら管制塔、こちら管制塔、緊急事態発生。被験者6名が死亡したとの報告があり、警護班は直ちに現場へと向かってくれ。
This guy didn't get it. He didn't even understand the message that he just received. The message was everyone's dying, not just the 6 test subjects.
くそ、なんてことだ。
Okay, so that's the end of the audio, I'm guessing. Is that it?
ええ。
一体何だったのよ今のは。
Any idea? Any ideas? I got only frowns and shaken heads in the response. Only one person showed a reaction other than stunned confusion. Tenmyoji. Long after the audio ended, he stared at the screen deep in thought.
天明寺さん、何か知ってるの？
ああ、これはおそらく火星への有人探査計画を前提としたシミュレーション実験施設の通信記録じゃと思う。
Wait, how does he know there's a Mars mission test site?
火星への有人探査計画を前提とした
シミュレーション実験施設って何なのよ。
I feel like she said simulation, but I might be wrong.
今政府の方で追消滅エンジンを搭載した宇宙船の開発が進められておるのを知っておるか？それが完成すれば現在よりもはるかに容易に火星へと人類を送り込むことができるようになる。しかし当然のごとく何の準備もせずにいきなり人類をというわけにはいかん。そこで政府はその前段階としてシミュレーション実験を行うことにしたんじゃ。
Yeah, he did say Tenmyoji did say simulation as well. I'm confused if it's. I guess maybe they're not calling it a test; they're calling it a simulation, but no clue.
ネバダ砂漠の空軍管轄地域に専用の施設を建ててな。そこに男女9人の被験者を収容して諸々のデータを採取することにしたんじゃよ。
Yeah, so he did mention it was a simulation of people going to Mars. Okay, so they're basically his guess, his assumption from what that information was is that it's a simulation of people going to Mars, men and women, and they're just watching over how they go to Mars basically and how they would survive during being in Mars. So, what we just listened to was a transmission from that project.
ああ、
どうしてそんなものがここに？
詳しい理由はわからん。ただメモリーカードは金庫の中にあったんじゃ。
That's true.
ゼロの思惑が絡んでおることは間違いなかろう。
つまりゼロは我々にこの音声データを聞かせるためにメモリーカードを配置しておいたということか。
そうなるじゃろ
う。ねえ、その前に天明寺さん、どうしてあなたがそんなことを知ってるの？
シミュレーション実験のことか？
ええ。
わしはその実験の関係者だったからじゃ。
So now they're tying his character to in a pre-existing information that's related to something out here. Involved.
実験の趣旨は実際の有人探査計画を想定してそれを忠実に再現することにあった。このため当然のごとく GO による通信途絶期間もシミュレートされることになったんじゃ。
GO っていうのは
But I still don't think I don't think this is a simulation. I think this is an audio from a real situation of people being at Mars. saying that they've released the Radical 6 on the planet, and it's around the same time frame as the whole like Red Moon situation with the New Year stuff. And I think the deal ending kind of proves a point where that when you get out, we're kind of like in a Mars-like area still, in a sense, and we're wearing the pressurized suit. So I'm wondering if all of this is just to prove a point that we're all in Mars because everyone on Earth died, but somehow one of the people in here in this particular facility got infected by the Radical 6.
地球から見て火星が太陽の真後ろに入ってしまった時のことをゴーと言うんじゃよ。
A lot of talking.
この時中継衛星が存在しない場合は地球と火星は互いに連絡を取り合うことができなくなる。音声データの中にあった2028年の大晦日とはその通信途絶期間が明ける日のことだったんじゃ。
I'm trying to remember what it was. Right, there was a game called Cube with a Q on its name, Qube. Cube. The first Cube game I played, I finished that game already. One of the story points was that or one of the things that the game wanted you to imagine yourself in was that you're in this like orbiting thing, orbiting something. So it's kind of interesting that that they're bringing up the case of like, oh right, once you orbit away, your signal gets lost and you're going to be out for a certain amount of time, basically, from Earth's communications. And so it would take a few days or a few hours to get you back on signal so they can talk to you again and communicate on how you are doing progress-wise. So it's kind of interesting to see this kind of play out in the same way where it's similar to that idea. I don't know what exactly is the case of why a signal is that far distance is still not being able to communicate if it's rotated further away. But, I mean, maybe capabilities is just limited in a way that it only reaches a certain million miles away, light years away, in order to, like, really say, hey, like, dude, we're just gonna whatever with it in terms of reaching the distance of signals. But it is interesting to see them talk about it here a little bit, pseudoscience-y style.
事件はその日に起こったと。
その日に起こったのか、あるいはそれよりももっと前に起こったのかはわからん。
True.
いずれにせよ発覚したのはその日ということになる。
音声データによると、その実験施設で6人の被験者が殺されたようだな。
We're not too sure if it's 6 subjects. It could be every subject, but sure.
ああ、そうじゃ。
Well, do you remember what she said? There was something about how she didn't just kill 6 people. She said 6 billion. What the heck does she mean by that?
施設で何が起こったっていうの？
Tenmyoji frowned and looked down at the floor. We were all silent as he paced slowly back and forth across the room. At last he stopped, raised his head, and spoke.
実はな、この実験施設からとあるウイルスが漏洩したのではないかという疑いが持たれておるんじゃ。
とあるウイルスってまさか。
その通り、ラジカル6じゃよ。
Why is everyone...
どういうことですか？
Why...
それは...
Why are we all surprised? I mean, it's kind of guaranteed that the document article thing we saw of Radical 6 is stated that way, I guess. And that could be real information. We just don't know if it's validified or confirmed in any way. I also realized, coming back to the memory of the memory... coming back from the memory chip color, I just realized the memory chip color is blue in this case, and the one that we picked up before was purple, and I just realized there was a difference in colors, and I didn't just realize that until now.
どういうことも何も今話した通りじゃよ。どうやらパンデミック、世界的なウイルスの感染拡大はこの実験施設を起点として発生したもののようなんじゃ。なぜ施設の中にラジカル6が存在していたのかはわからん。被験者の誰かが感染していたのか、あるいはシミュレーションの一環としてウイルスが事前に準備されていたのか。とにかくそれはこの施設から漏れ出し、世界中へと広まっていったのではないかと考えられておるんじゃ。
その結果、60億もの人間が亡くなったと。
But in that case, if it's killing 6 million or 6 billion people, then which is the whole Earth, basically, then wouldn't that mean that the person who is communicating in this audio file, is probably in Mars rather than the woman who's probably at Earth? Because I think that's probably what it is. It's like there's a switcheroo probably that we don't notice until we figured it out, or until we listen it more closely, I think, to how they're talking.
いや、厳密に言うとそうではない。ラジカル6の感染症によって死亡したのはそのうちの3分の1程度ではないかと言われておる。残りの3分の2はそのことを原因として間接的に引き起こされた災害、人災によって命を失ったんじゃ。
Wow. Damn, I have a lot of questions. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start knowing where to start. Well, no, take that back. Explain that date. Unless I heard this wrong. The day the Radical 6 got out was December 31st, 2028. But the day I got grabbed by the guy in the gas mask was December 25th, 2028.
私も同じ。クリスマスのことだった。
私もです。
私と四つ葉はその3日前、22日のことだったわ。
うん、そうだね。
Then you see what I'm trying to say, right? The recording was recording was made close to a week before or after we were all picked up. What the hell is going on here? Alright, and that will be a point where I'll stop for now. Unfortunately, I gotta stop here because we've already hit the 30-minute mark. We're getting at a good point. I think we're about to hit into the Betray Ally section soon, because it seems like we're talking a little bit longer than usual in this game. So we'll probably hit a length where it will be like, hey, it's time to vote now, kind of situation, and we'll see how that's gonna go in the next episode when we get to that point. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode, or nobody minds. Hope you guys have a great, amazing day. Good night to when I'm watching this. I'm hoping to see what... I'm hoping that this ends at the 2 bad ending choices, and that's it. And then we move to the other puzzle room, the other last branch that we haven't explored fully of that one section. And then we're pretty much, by then, hoping to get all the ending locks, or all the blocked endings, to open up so we can see what's ahead. If not, then we'll progress to whatever flow state it goes to and try to close out whatever bad ending or ending that they're going to give us in this game. Don't know how many more endings we have to go through to finally get our endings and stuff done, but we'll try. We'll get wherever we need to go. Anyways, point is, that's it for this episode. Roz, out.